What is up? Welcome back to our full 8 exhaust install series for the Focus ST. We've got 4 down, we've got 4 more to go. Let's get cracking. Alright, so like I said, we've got the next 4 exhausts for the Focus ST exhaust series that we're doing. We're showing you all the sound clips, my thoughts about all of them, little install tidbits and stuff like that. If you missed the first one, if you're coming to this video and this is the first time you've seen any exhaust video for the Focus ST from us, check out part 1 up here, click the link above. You'll be able to see the first 4 exhausts that we did, doing 8 total. This is part 2. We are starting off with an MBRP. This is the installer series, so this is the least expensive one. I kind of wanted to throw one in there that was just super, like inexpensive really, compared to the rest. For you guys that are on a little bit more of a budget, we want to test that one out, see how it fits, see how it looks, see how it sounds. Then next up we got the AFE Power. Next after that is the AWE. Now in the first part we did an AWE Touring. This is an AWE Track, so this is going to be even more aggressive because it doesn't have that rear muffler. And then we're going to end up with the GReddy. Now in the first video I said that I was going to wait till the end and probably put on the one that I thought I might want to end up with after everything is said and done. My personal experience with GReddy is I really like them. I've had them on multiple cars. They've always sounded really good, fit really nice, finish is on point. So I might end up with a GReddy, but we'll just have to see, and you'll just have to see. So again, all this stuff is subjective. I'm just going to tell you my thoughts about what they are, and you can decide for yourself if you want an exhaust. Like I said in the first one, exhausts, I mean, we get the question all the time, which exhaust should I get? I don't know, I can't answer that question for you, but we're showing you each of these exhausts so you can determine if it's what you want for your style and your installation requirements and just whatever else helps you decide on which exhaust. So let's get into these 4. Should be fun. We put the MBRP on actually at the end of the last shooting session, so it's already on the car. We're going to go back right now to show you kind of the sound clips and my commentary on it, and then next up we're going to throw on the AFE Power. So let's get going. Alright guys, we just got the Borla exhaust off of the car to end part 1. We now have the first exhaust of part 2 ready to go on the car. This is the MBRP. They have 3 different versions. There's a 304 stainless steel, which is the nicer one, 409 stainless steel, which is the mid-grade one, and then the aluminized steel, which is the lower end one. So yeah, that's what we have. This thing, so we're weighing it, it's 42.2 pounds, which is like 1.6 pounds less than stock. So from a weight perspective, this thing is about the same. Mainly because this muffler is heavy as hell. You would think that this small section wouldn't be as heavy as it is, but it is pretty heavy. So, this is a pretty generic looking system. It definitely doesn't have the eye appeal and the style points that the others have. I haven't pulled out the tips at all yet. Actually, those are over here. So without the tips, it weighs 1.6 less than stock. So this isn't like the nicest looking one, but again, it's a really good value. It's not the most expensive one out there. It's going to serve the purpose of putting a performance exhaust in your car. So we wanted to show you what this thing was all about. So you can get an idea of what it looks like off the car. Again, it's almost the same as stock as far as weight goes. But I'm going to start putting this thing on, and we'll do this MBRP to start off part 2. Okay, so I'm not done installing this exhaust yet, but I kind of want to take a second and just show you. There's a couple wonky things about this exhaust so far. Like, it's up there and it is sitting there nicely, but if you were to hit some big bumps, you know, we're kind of close to the left side of the heat shielding going through this section of the tunnel where this smaller muffler or resonator is. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem long term, if we're actually going to experience any noises on the road. It's also really close to the subframe. Now they did give us a hanger right here, but the car, I mean, at least ours, I don't know if the stock one does. I don't remember seeing like a rod for a hanger on the stock one, on the stock exhaust. But we did not have a hanger on the above the subframe. So I haven't been using it except with the Cobb exhaust, because they gave you a new hanger for their exhaust, which actually would indicate to me that maybe they know that a lot of Focus STs don't come with that. So I don't know. Exhaust number 5, this is definitely the trickiest to fit. I'm not sure that it fits very, very well. I would not characterize it as that, as fitting very well. But again, it's the least expensive. You know, there's probably some corners cut, maybe a little bit less time taken on this one by MBRP. I do like these tips. They're kind of like that double wall, you know, kind of tapered edge there. This is probably kind of my favorite kind of exhaust tip right here. So these do look pretty nice and shiny. So first exhaust part 2, the MBRP. So this is very, as far as startup goes already and just kind of initial pull off, this thing is very much like the Cobb actually. It's very mild, not really super loud at all. As you can tell by the startup and just the idle and kind of light revving there. Even driving away, it's like OEM plus-ish, you know? It's really not that loud at all. So again, the old man in me is saying I like this exhaust so far, but you know, maybe some of you guys that want more of an aggressive exhaust without an upgraded downpipe might think this is a little bit too mild, but you know, anyway, it is whatever it is. So but it sounds good. It's very smooth. You know, there's nothing crazy or annoying or too aggressive about it. But when you get on it, you know it's there. It's definitely an upgraded exhaust. So pretty nice so far. I'm impressed actually. I mean, considering the price and like just the general quality of it, you know, it's not like the nicest exhaust we've put on the car so far. It sounds better than it looks, and better than what the price would suggest for sure. So so yeah, I like it so far. Let's see what it sounds like on the outside. Before we get this MBRP off, I actually wanted to follow up on something that we did earlier during the install, and that is address kind of fitment of the MBRP. The tips and the alignment of the full rear section is actually pretty good. I like it, it's fine. But this kind of mid pipe in here that goes through the little S section in the tunnel, in the exhaust shielding tunnel, it's really close. It's a lot closer than all the other exhausts. And my original worry was that as we drove, it, you know, like going over bumps and taking turns and stuff, that it would kind of rattle and flex too much, and it would kind of hit that shielding and you'd be able to hear it. So far so good, I think, and we could probably make it a little bit better than it is now on Fitment. We just aren't spending a ton of time making sure it fits like perfectly. But this one is definitely not it's the worst fitting so far. But with that said, I don't think it's a huge issue at this point. I did not experience any rattling or kind of clicking or any banging or any crazy noises. So I think this one's okay, but it's just something to note that this one doesn't fit quite as nicely as all the others. But anyway, gonna take it off, switch over to the AFE, we'll see how that one fits and go from there. All right, another thing I wanted to tell you is the MBRP does have that slight neck down feature to fit the stock downpipe. Now, I think if you buy an MBRP downpipe, I wanna say that it comes with an attachment to make it full 3 inches, because they know their exhausts come like this in the exhaust kit. So, but anyway, again, like I said in the first video, if you're on stock turbo or a mild upgrade, this probably isn't ever going to be a huge problem. But if you do want full 3 inches, just make note of that. And like I said, I do believe the MBRP downpipe comes with this attachment if you want to swap out to a full 3 inch. Oh, I see. All right, AFE hardware. Looks like a separate hanger bracket here that you have to install separately. So that's all right. That actually might make it, I don't know, fairly easier to install with the hangers. You can see where it bolts up right here. Looks like we got black tips on this one, which I like. I do like the black tips. A little bit more stealthy. That's actually a little bit more my style. All right, so here's the midsection, and here's the resonator, looks like. Just judging by the piping setup, this thing is probably gonna be pretty loud. I didn't expect it to be this minimal on the AFE. AFE kind of makes a wide range of combination, or like a wide range of exhausts in terms of sound. This might be a loud one, so, but we'll have to find out, won't we? Alright, so this is one unique difference from this exhaust so far compared to all the others, is that you have to put this bracket on in order to mount the passenger side hanger. So kind of a unique thing. I've seen this before where they kind of have like modular style brackets and stuff like that. That's fine. Shouldn't be a problem. If anything, it might allow us to fit the tips up, you know, exactly where we want. So we'll get these tightened up and finish up the rest. All right, so AFE is on the car. This wasn't too hard to install. I will say though that it fits okay, it fits fine. But the piping, I don't know if the piping like at the slip joint is not tight enough, because I've tightened the clamps really good with like a really high torque impact driver, and they still just kind of don't want to like hold in place really well. It's something that, you know, maybe after a heat cycle or two, you could go in there and retighten it and kind of adjust it again. It might be okay, but kind of a little bit funky. We'll have to just see what it looks like when we bring it back in after heat cycle and after driving it a little bit. But otherwise, it's a pretty nice system. Let's go take it for a drive. definitely, it's loud, it's there, you can't not hear it. We'll see what it is like at wide open throttle, but just considering we have the stock downpipe again, as mentioned before, this thing is pretty loud. So I'm anticipating this thing being pretty loud at watt. Let's do a little second gear. Yeah, it's pretty loud. It's pretty comparable with the AWE, but I would say that it's actually more like controlled than the AWE. So it's like just as loud, but it's a more controlled loud. It's not as, for lack of a better word, it's not as obnoxious as the AWE. So yeah, it sounds pretty smooth actually, going at just kind of cruising. I'm at like, 27, 2800 RPM right now. It doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, this is definitely up there on the list of loud, as I expected after looking at the piping. So let's do some shots outside the car, give you guys an idea of what this thing sounds like on the outside, and then we'll be finished up with this one. Let's go. All right, so the AWE track setup coming in at 34 pounds even. Pretty light setup, saving some weight with this one as well. As expected, it's pretty minimal, just that small resonator there. So this one is a weight savings as well. So far, MBRP is the only one that comes in really at factory weight. So weight savings with all of them, but MBRP so far. All right, folks, we just got done installing the AWE. This has the black tips. I think we had the polished tips or the chrome tips or whatever on the other one. The other one was kind of tough to fit. If you remember, if you watch that video, if you go back and watch that video, I mentioned how the tips were really close to the bumper. This setup does not seem to be close to the bumper. I can fully put the width of my fingers between the bumper and the tips. So this one fits much better than that touring one that we put on. One other thing is these clamps, man, they take some torque to get tight on the end of the pipe there. So don't be afraid to torque those down if you need to. We had to really go at it to get these to tighten down. But we also left these out a little bit so you can kind of get an idea of what they look like a little bit further out from the bumper on this one, since these are adjustable. So yeah, anyway, this is the AWE track. Let's go take it out, see what we think. starting this thing up. Just when I thought I knew what the heck I was talking about, I realized maybe I don't. This thing sounds way more, I think way better than the Touring already. Just with startup and a little revving and taking it out of the garage, it's way more tame than the Touring. So, and again, we just have a resonator, no muffler. Usually mufflers are the ones that kind of deaden the sound a lot and really kind of tone it down, but this thing is really toned it down with just that big resonator. So let's see what it sounds like taking it out on the street. Yeah, it's already quieter, already smoother, already more streetable. 100% already, you can already tell. So kind of an interesting, I don't know, that's interesting to me. You thought, you know, just when I thought this would be even more aggressive, it's really not. But it's called the track system. The other one's the Touring. I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, I like this one a lot better than the Touring. It's much more refined. Not as loud, but much more refined. Let's do a little windows down. See if we can pick up some good sound. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like that. This thing sounds good. It's way, I mean, I don't know, it sounds way better than the Touring in my opinion. Shoot, maybe I'll leave this one on the car. I didn't think I would end up leaving this one on the car after the AWE, or after the Touring one sounded like it did. But this one's nice. All right, we're circling back around, and let's go ahead and get some shots of outside. Just wrapped up the AWE track. Was pleasantly surprised by that one. That's gonna get a good that's gonna be a really good value for sure, because that's a pretty inexpensive unit and it sounds really good. So, but we're coming in hot with number 8, the final exhaust. We're doing the GReddy system here. Super clean looking setup, a lot of polished material here, which is cool. A lot of nice TIG welding. This thing is very, you know, it's complete, ready to go. This one does not have the full 3-inch. It does made up to the stock downpipe flush. So just wanted to note that there. But yeah, so we're ready to put this thing on. It weighs 34.4 pounds. So that's coming in a lot lighter than the stock system. So you're saving some weight with this one as well. I think the MBRP was the only one that ended up being like right on weight with the stock. So we've saved weight with all of them. So anyway, I've saved this one for last because, like I said, the GReddy exhausts have always been really good to me. I've always really liked them. They've been around a long time. They make good stuff. So so we're going to leave this one on. Well, we're going to see what this sounds like, and I'm going to assume that I might leave it on. But I was surprised by the AWE track. So I think it might be between this, the Cobb, and the AWE track. So I'll leave my final judgment for after we do this one. Let's get going. My body hurts. All right, GReddy is on the car. Polished tips, fits perfectly. This is all flanged. There's no slip joints on here. And in the past, I've had kind of trouble with slip joints. I think some exhaust kits kind of have crappy slip joints. All the kits here have been really good. So it's proven to be a lot easier install than the flanged ones. So this just takes time to, you know, put the flanges together, bolt it up. But once you do, really hardly any work has to be done for the GReddy on just kind of maneuvering it and kind of making it fit exactly right. Like, I haven't done anything. I've just put it all together. Fits perfect. So finish is super smooth, super nice, super clean. Really like this setup, and we're gonna go test it out, see what it sounds like. So we got the GReddy out on the road now. This thing is very mild. It's very similar to the Cobb, and to be honest, the construction is very similar to the Cobb. They make them both the exact, you know, really the same type of way. So I kind of expected it to sound like the Cobb. So it's very mild, pretty quiet with the windows down, light throttle. You almost don't know that you have an exhaust. Honestly, right now, you would have to tell somebody I have an exhaust on my car. Otherwise, they probably would not know. With the windows up, I think I said windows down before. With the windows up, you would have to tell somebody. See right there, you can hear it a little bit, but it's super mild. It's pretty quiet. So let's see if I can get into it a little bit here and see what it sounds like. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Nice, smooth, clean exhaust note, nothing obnoxious, nothing too loud, pretty mild. So if you like mild exhausts, this is definitely a good choice. The GReddy fits the bill for that. And then with the windows down, sounds really good as well. So again, this is actually really similar to the Cobb. If you can't decide between a Cobb and a GReddy, either one of them will work. They'll do the same thing. All right, let's go see what it sounds like on the outside of the car, shall we? All right, that wraps up the 8th and final road test, sound test install that we've done. Had a lot of fun doing these and seeing all the different characteristics of all the exhausts. We do have a final decision to make on which one we want on the car. We also need to do dyno testing. So that leaves me with the choice of the Cobb. I think I'm gonna go with the Cobb, which I didn't exactly anticipate I'd do in the beginning. I knew it'd be up there. But I think I'm gonna go with the Cobb, and the reason why is because, first, like I said, I'm an old man, so I kind of like quiet stuff right now. But the second is, it is a true 3-inch design, which I'm probably making a little bit too big of a deal out of that for like 99% of people that are gonna put exhaust on their car. But, I mean, we are doing this stuff for, you know, results-driven activity, you know, results-driven content. So I kind of want to see what a true 3-inch will do as far as power is concerned. If you watched the first video, you'd see that we tested the 2.5-inch Borla exhaust and did some dyno work on that. So we wanted to leave the full 3-inch exhaust for the second video, and I think that's why I want to go with the Cobb, is just to make sure that we're doing a full 3-inch exhaust. We're going to end up putting a downpipe on the car, bigger turbo on the car than what's already on there now. So I think it's best that I just do the 3-inch now. I really like the sound of the Cobb. It's a quality unit. We do sell a lot of them. You know, people really like them, so there's a reason why. We're going to go with that one as well. So anyway, Cobb it is. I'm going to put the Cobb back on the car, and then I'm going to toss it over to Alan, and he's going to do our dyno work for the 3-inch. So let's go.
As you might have saw in the last video, we tested the Borla 2.5-inch exhaust and we actually lost some power. So we wanted to get a 3-inch exhaust on here and see if there's any difference there. And there actually is a little bit of a difference. One thing I noticed immediately is that torque hits a lot harder with the 3-inch exhaust than it did with the stock exhaust or the 2.5-inch exhaust. It does kind of like even out up top to where it's making roughly the same, maybe even a little bit less power. But one of the things that I noticed through data logging is that the car seemed a lot more happier. It seemed as if it could take a little bit more spark advance. So I gave it a little bit more spark advance, and it took it, and we ended up making more torque and more horsepower all over. So without any changes to the tune, you can see in this graph here that we gained torque, and horsepower is roughly the same in the peak region, where it then kind of tapered off up top a little bit and was making a little bit less horsepower up top. Then with the added timing, which you can see from this graph comparison, you can see we gained a decent chunk in the mid-range, from about 3,500 to 5,000, and then above 5,000 is about 5. Before that it was about 10. So yeah, so with this 3-inch exhaust, we are making more power now than we were before. We're making more torque with just a slight tweak to the tune. In conclusion, JP worked hard to get you guys all the sound clips, and I've worked hard to see if we can gain any power, and it turns out you can with a 3-inch catback. So hope you guys liked this video. Be sure and hit that like button if you did, and make sure you subscribe to our channel, because we're going to be putting out a lot more videos like this in the future. And we hope you guys are enjoying the content. We enjoy making it. Let us know in the comments if you guys have any suggestions for things we should try to see if it makes more power or not. I know we have a list of things going, and we're going to be bringing more of these out to you shortly. Anyways, we'll catch you guys next time.